Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Learn with Jason. And watch, I can do this now. All right, that's absurd. Hi, hello, how are you? I see Ben, Kelvin, Tristan, first time chatter. What's up? And Chris, thank you for the sub, very much appreciated. Yeah, having a great time with this new setup. I just got it all running. I've got independent source recording and new lights and camera angles and all of this fun stuff going on, and I am absolutely thrilled. And I just realized, crap, I didn't even start my new. I've got captions running, so these will be. There we go. Okay, so captions will start streaming through now. That closed caption button will be on. I got to put that on a checklist. All right, new stream, all new buttons. I only know what some of them do. So, how is everybody? What's everybody up to today? What I wanted to do in this stream is work on the learnwithjason.dev suite of sites. So as some of you know, I run a lot of different things off of learnwithjason.dev. So I've got an API. I've got some webhooks for things like I use a service for scheduling episodes, and I need webhooks to kind of move the scheduled episodes between different things. I've got a blog. I've got the episode listings themselves. I have what else is in there? The scenes, what you're looking at right now, this overlay down here, this is all a website that I run off of the Learn with Jason system. And so as you can imagine, there's a lot of overlap. Like there's shared colors, there's shared some shared components like the logo, the sponsor information, all that kind of stuff is very easy to get out of sync if you're running it across multiple repos. And I really didn't want to get into the game of trying to I don't want to have to maintain a package that's my design system, and every time I need to update a color, I have to open a pull request to the design system and then merge that and then publish a new package and then go to every website I own and bump the version of the package and then redeploy those sites like that. That process is great if you're a big company. I am not a big company. I am a small company, and I want to be able to do this more easily. And I think even for big companies, it's kind of preferable to not have to do those sort of hoop jumps every time you want to roll something out. So I really like monorepos for that reason, because they give you the ability to have like private packages, but you don't have to publish those packages. They're just other things that are in the repo with you. And that allows you to then do all the things that you would do if you did have external packages. So you can share them, you can you import them just like you would, you import like logo from LWJ design system, right? And if I update the design system, it updates everywhere. But when I push to the repo, because I'm using NX, then the sites all build if the thing that they needed to build is affected. So NX has this command called affected, and then it also has NX Cloud, which will like cache the output of a response. So like if nothing in the code base changed, it just pulls the previously cached build. And all of that makes my life easier, and it means that I don't have to do manual steps to deploy, which is a big win as far as I'm concerned, because I always miss manual steps. As you noticed, when I started the stream, I was supposed to start the captions, and I didn't for the first few seconds because I forgot. And I don't like realizing that, oh yeah, I'm just going to do this thing real quick before I head out. And then I'm like out at dinner and I realize, oh my God, I just broke everything because I forgot to do that one manual step. I want to take all that away. So that's why I've been thinking about moving to a monorepo. The other reason I wanted to move to a monorepo is that I have different tools for different purposes. I really like writing blog posts in MDX, and I want to be able to do that. I also really like the dev experience of Remix, as it allows me to pull in lots of different data sources, and it's got good form handling and stuff that I like, and I want to keep using that. But Remix does not like Markdown. It's just not built for it. And you can wrestle it into working with MDX, but it's kind of a big like manual slog. Whereas Astro just loves MDX. It works perfectly with it. And I want to be able to kind of have my cake and eat it too here. So why not just have a blog in Astro and the episodes in Remix, and then use proxies to make it all feel like one big website. And because I have a monorepo and because I'm using Netlify, that's actually pretty straightforward to do. And so that's what I've been working on for a little bit. Let me do some quick shouts here. And sorry, I'm just reading the chat here. No, you're absurd. Yes, this hat is a Jason Santa Maria recommendation, and it makes me very happy. And I hope that everybody figures out how to get one of these. I don't know. I don't remember where I got it. I will have to look this up. Let me see if I can find it. It was something. There's no way I'm going to find this. It was like some kind of not great website where everything was listed without a URL, and you just had to scroll down a little ways. And don't know. I linked it somewhere else if anybody remembers where I posted that weeks ago. Otherwise, you're just going to have to Google it for yourself. All right. Let's see. Oh, good. We got some spammers in the chat. Always fun. Let's just get you out of here. Goodbye. All right. Quick little. Need to get some moderation tools in these chats so that I can do this stuff faster. Just drop a few hearts in the chat. All right. Yes, Ben. Hey, Jacob, how you doing? Okay, so yeah, what I was going to do before and what I will do now is I'm going to switch over to this view here, where I will first and foremost, let me pull across this tab where we will go to, nope, lwj.dev, where I am live right now. Let's see this. Why is that so small? There it is. This episode, like every episode, is being live captioned. You can hit that little CC button on your Twitch video player to get those closed captions. That is being done by White Coat Captioning. I have Rachel here with me today. Thank you very much, Rachel. And that's made possible through the support of our sponsors, Netlify, NX, and New Relic, all kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people, which I very much appreciate. And today we are going to be looking at NX, who is a sponsor of the show and is the monorepo tool that I like. And we're also going to be using Netlify. So let me drop a couple quick links here to NX if you want to give this a shot. And also to Netlify. If you've never tried it, it is also kind of magical. We'll look at how both of those things go. Coops45, excellent. I am very happy to see that you are learning NX, and hopefully I can do something useful here. So, all right. So let's do a quick walkthrough of what's going on. So I'm going to close down everything that's in here, and let's just take a look at the guts of what's in this repo. So the first thing that you'll notice is that I have a nx.json at the root of this package. And then I also have in my package.json these workspaces. And so in the workspaces, I'm saying that anything in the sites folder or the packages folder should be considered a deployable thing. And then in the nx.json, I'm actually kind of just using their defaults here. I'm saying that if I run a build on something, it depends on the build of any of the repos it's including. So like if I have my my design system, for example, if that had a build step, which in my case it doesn't, but if it did have a build step, if it was depended on by the blog, to What's everybody doing? Get out, go away. You're going into do not disturb mode. How do I do that? Do not disturb. Yeah. Okay. So I, if I build my website, like the blog, which depends on the design system, then NX will automatically run the build or whatever other commands. Like you could set this up to have testing or, any kind of pre-build hooks, anything you wanted to do to make sure that this all happens in the way that you would do it if you're doing it manually. But now the robot does it. And then down here, this NX Cloud is just me saying like, cache my builds if you can. This is a public token, so we're not leaking anything here. Just some magic here. And Jacob, yeah, there's some really cool things that you can do with this, but I'm actually not using it for any of that. All I really want to be able to do is I want to have these shared pieces here. So I've got like my design system that has a few things that I reuse, like my header and the logo and a few pieces like that. I then have my shared CSS, like my color system. I've got a really, really basic reset. I've got my typography rules, like I use my fonts. I've got a few things about like what colors things should be and all that. And then a couple of utilities like a visually hidden so that we can do accessible hints for screen readers. Got my web fonts in here, a couple other things that I need. And the same for like Notion and Sanity, and then Socket Studio is what I use to run the chat. So the chat component that's on the screen right now is this one down here. That is from this package. So that is the kind of shared components. And the reason I have Socket Studio shared is eventually, someday, I want to build this into a thing that other people can use. I had intentions a long time ago of making that into an actual business, and I don't know. I don't really want to. I don't want to start another company. So, also, did you notice my enormous water bottle? I promised myself I was going to drink more water, and if I have a small cup, I drink my small cup, and I forget about it for 4 days. So with this, I actually hey, at least I'm drinking 40 ounces of water. So, okay. So then in the sites, we've got a few things. So we've got the API. So this is my API endpoints. I've got, I'm loading episodes, featured episodes, the poster, that's a work in progress, schedule, sponsors, if I want to get a topic, all of those good things. And then I just use redirects so that there are some functionality there where I can hit /API and all of that. Then it looks like I have a weird bug there that we're just gonna delete that and pretend it doesn't exist. Then I've got my blog, and so this blog, this is an Astro site, and this is the new home of my blog because I want to write in MDX, and this is just a little more friendly for me in terms of how I like to work. So I specify a layout and then just use my standard metadata, and I'm off to the races, right? So then I've got a couple other things, code of conduct, newsletter, the about page, stuff like that doesn't really need any special functionality. I just want it to be plain old CSS and HTML at the end of the day. Those all live in here. And then I've also got my... What is all of this? This is very weird. Whatever I did here is weird. I created bonus folders and I'm not sure why. Then I've got a Discord bot. I don't actually use this right now. It's a thing that I want to use more of, and I'll get more into it later, but for now, it's all good. Then I have my scenes and more ghost folders for reasons I don't understand. These are what you're looking at now. This is the lower third, the name overlay, all the pieces that you need to make this stuff function. And then we've got Sanity Studio, which I need to talk to Cap over there about upgrading to V3 because I haven't done that yet. Got webhooks so that I can handle Calendly. And then this is my, this is my remix site. So my remix site, this is kind of the original all-in-one. So it's got a bunch of things in here like my old API, that I've since extracted out into separate sites. And so this is the one that I'm kind of pulling things out of. So instead of trying to jam the whole ecosystem into this one project, I want to instead make this into a component of the ecosystem. And so the way that I'm doing that, and this is the tricky part here. So first, let's just kind of look at how each of these work. So I'll go into GitHub, learn with Jason, and then I can nx run blog dev, right? And so this is the part that I find really magical. So in my blog, I have created in my package JSON the name of blog, and then I've got a script of dev. And since I have nx running here and I have the nx CLI, I can just run any command out of any of my sites. So nx run says I'm going to run a command. Then you do the site name, and then you do the command that you want to run. And note that, like, as we're looking in here, there's nothing nx specific going on. This is there's no actual reference to nx in this site at all. I haven't used their generators, and like there's a bunch of power stuff that you can do with nx that I'm not using. I eventually, I'm sure, will get deeper into this, but for the moment, what I really wanted is my sites to be in one repo in a way that I could deploy. That's it. That's all I want. And that gives me the ability to then set this up. And so now that I have that done, I can go over here and we can go to localhost 8888. And this is my like placeholder homepage that I haven't actually deployed. I hit the blog. Now this is in dev mode, so it's a little bit slower because it's kind of hitting different queries and stuff as it goes. But I get my list of blog posts. Okay, so good. Happy about that. Click in here, get my blog posts. There's a bug, there's probably like I'm holding it wrong happening here that I need to fix. Oh wait, I'm not reading chat. Oh, what's up? Thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. It's good to see you. What were y'all working on over there? Akawar, I'm not, I don't know you. So I'm going to, there's a shout out. Does that work? That's not how these commands work. It's like this. There we go. There we go. So one of these days I'm going to learn how all this works. What are we looking at right now, Brandon? This is Arc browser. So I've started using Arc because it's just a little bit cleaner for me. And it kind of, the whole thing runs off of like a command bar sort of deal. So you just sort of hit like Command L and it brings this thing up. But if I wanted to like open a thing, you just kind of get all of these different options. Anyways, it's dope. If you, I think it's, what is it? Arc browser, arc.net. It's worth checking out for sure. And welcome everybody. That was first time chatters. What's up, y'all? Thank you. But so what I want to do is I've got my blog is here. And then if I want to go to the episodes, it's not set up on Astro, right? So what I want instead is I want to hit the other site, which is the old remix site. So I'm going to hit that with run dev. And then the way that remix is set up, it's set to use port 3000. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to change this over to 3000. And so this is then my homepage. And if I go to all episodes, it's there. But then if I go to blog, blog doesn't work because it's not defined, right? So this is sort of the setup of how I want this to function. I want it all to work where, you know, the episodes, the schedule, the store all live on the remix site. And then the blog, the newsletter sign up, about pages, miscellaneous confirmations, legal pages, like stuff that's just static, I want to be on Astro because I want to edit it and publish it in Markdown. So to do that brings me into Netlify. And so the piece that I'm going to be using here is redirects. So if I look in my blog, which I'm going to set the blog as being the root because it has there's less going on with an Astro site, right? So we're going to use redirects. Let's look at redirects, and then I'll talk about why I switched to the Astro site. So this is everything that happens behind the scenes on the Learn with Jason site. So I'm making sure that my other domains or old domains all go to the main URL. I've got my webhooks, and this is where it starts to get interesting, right? So I've got this site deployed that's my webhooks. And I can have the main site, anytime you go to /webhooks, just redirect to this webhook. And then like the API v2 goes out to my new API that I'm publishing. And that just redirects to the splat there. And then, you know, we've got stuff for like the sponsors. We've got stuff for like a Das Keyboard sent me a keyboard for free. So I got an affiliate link for them. I've got like booking links and stuff like that. And then a bunch of moved stuff. So this is kind of the magic of all these things. And then here's the real like big piece. Anything that doesn't exist on this site is going to redirect to the old site, which I'm going to host at LWJ Remix. And so that means that I can put whatever pages I want on the Astro site, and the Astro site will take precedence. So if I were to publish an episodes page on the Astro site, it would take precedence over the Remix site. But if there's a 404, it's going to fall through to the Remix site. And that means that I can do what's called an incremental migration, which is great, or in my case, a partial migration. I'm not intending to like get rid of the Remix site or get rid of the Astro site. I want both of them to work together because I need them for different things. And it's kind of fun to hack on two different frameworks, right? So I can be my own chaos agent, and therefore I choose to do so. So what I want to do here is then do this. And the reason that I set this one up like this, as an Astro is going to be the root, the first site that we hit, is because if we go over and we look at the same set of rules in Remix, I've got some things like I've got RSS feeds set up, and I've got some old redirects for the V1 API. I've got a sitemap. And then down here, this is so that Remix can function. You have to redirect every single request to the server. To this serverless function. And that's just how Remix runs. So I can't do a fall through on Remix. I have to make Remix the last stop in the chain, or else I'm going to, everything will get caught by this Remix catch-all. So that means that this becomes the end of the chain instead of the start of the chain. Okay, so all of that means that when I come in here, oh, we got some gift codes to Arc. That's dope. Yes, Ben Holmes, exactly. You can slowly migrate all the pages, and that is the thing. And Musha, no, you don't need to set up a redirect. That's the real power here. So because I've set up, so this is the Remix redirect, and then let's go back to the blog and look at the blog redirects down here at the bottom. Anything that 404s. So if I go to my Astro site / something fake, I won't get a 404 from the Astro site. I will instead go to the Remix site and request / something fake, and then Remix will deliver that 404. So basically what I'm saying is Astro, if it exists, show it from the Astro site. If not, try to show it from the Remix site. And if it doesn't exist there, then Remix does the error handling. So I've created this sort of chain. And this is like, when I figured out how this worked, when this light bulb kind of clicked on for me with Netlify, it was a really, really big revelation, because one of the biggest problems that I've had is I want to do something and it requires me to use a new tool. I do not have time or interest to rebuild the whole project, re-implement all the functionality that's already there just to enable this one thing that I want. So using these reverse proxies, I can go in and say, I'm going to use this tool to build the thing that I need. And then I'm going to reverse proxy it in at the path that I want on my main site. So my whole website, learnwithjason.dev, is on Remix, except for maybe I want to send, I I don't know. Here's a good example. I want to send all of my requests to GraphQL to Hasura, right? So I can just proxy that in. It just does the thing, right? So now when you go to learnwithjason.dev/GraphQL, you hit Hasura, which I think is broken right now. So I'm phasing it out. It served its purpose. I've thanked it for its time, and I'm going to set it aside. But I was able to do that. I was like, I want to use Hasura for something. And so I proxied it in, and I didn't have to rebuild my whole site. I didn't have to change anything else. I just set up this reverse proxy, and lo and behold, it works. And so to me, that is very, very cool and very, very helpful. So Mikhail, I'm not moving. I'm augmenting, right? I want to use Astro for MDX, and I want to use Remix for the stuff that's using databases. And I know that I could use Astro for the stuff with databases. I actually think if I wanted to, I could migrate my whole site to Astro and it would work. But I like the development flow of the actions and loaders that come with Remix. And so I don't want to throw that out. Like I actually kind of dig that. So for the episodes, for the scheduling, for some of the other things that I do on the Learn with Jason site, I want to keep that Remix stuff. And then for the blog, I want to have a faster workflow with MDX, and it's just so much less painful to write MDX on Astro. So that's my plan, is to just kind of put one foot in both camps and use the tools for the things that I like best about them in the places where I need them. Okay, I have, Astro form handling. All right. For anybody who doesn't know, Ben Holmes is one of the Astro core members. So also, Ben is the whiteboard, the web guy. Let's do a little shout out to Ben. What up, Ben? But yeah, so. This is my Netlify dashboard, and on it you can see I've got a bunch of different things. I've starred the ones that I use all the time, and so what I want to do, I've been building in this Monorepo branch for a long time. You may have, if you watch me on the Twitter, seen me complaining about my own hubris in thinking I could do a long-lived feature branch. And that's kind of what I want to work on today, is trying to untangle this. So this is the site as it stands today. If anybody wants to go and mess with it, you won't be able to build it locally because I got a bunch of tokens and stuff and environment variables that you would need. But you can at least see how it works and sort of make your own thing. Benjamin, I do not work at Netlify any longer. I have now gone independent. I'm full time on Learn with Jason. But I did work at Netlify up until like November. So I've been on my own for less than a month. 3 bends, thrice the power. Okay, so I've been working on this branch, and what I would like to do is I want to take this live today because I've actually got it running. So if we look at, is this the one? No. If I go to here, deploy previews, that's not it. I want somewhere in here. Yeah, branch deploys. I've got my Monorepo, and I want to open this. So, oh crap, I committed that index folder. I need to undo that. But okay, so we've got this branch deploy works, and you can see this in action. So this is the blog, right? Ben, do you see this? Okay, so Ben Holmes, you are now a captive audience. Why does this happen? Do you see that flash? It is driving me up a wall. So I actually opened a question on the support Astro forum about this. Look what's happening. I know what's happening. I just don't know how to fix it. If I open this up and I look at my header, right? My header is here, and the header has CSS module styles that I would expect would get put up here somewhere, but they actually get put where the slot is, which is in the main down here. Let me close this up. They're in here, and it's killing me because that means that my header loads before the styles for the header load, and now I get this very irritating flash of unstyled content. So Ben, please fix that and do it for me so that I don't have to do it myself. Hey Ben, huh? Okay, so what version of Astro? That's a great question. I think it's right. Let me see. What am I using? I'm using Astro 1.6.8. How out of date is that? It shouldn't do that, Jason Cam 2. Am I outdated? I thought I was up to date. Hold on, let's check. So I'm gonna go into sites, blog, and we're gonna do an npm outdated, and it says Astro 172. Should all be okay. Let's, you know what? We're doing it live. Let's upgrade. Link you to the support forum. All right, let me figure out how to link to a support forum. Yeah, if y'all aren't in the Astro, this is a good place to be. So let's see. How do I? Here's the link. This is a link to that Discord. And I tried to include all the details on what I think is going on, but yeah, I'm not 100% sure what's going on there. Did something weird, and I wanted to stop. Oh yeah, good call. Let me actually also send that astro.build/chat. If I put it in the chat, it goes into a list. Oh yeah, get on that wait list for ARC. I think somebody up the chat, if you scroll up, has some invites. So Brandon, if you want to grab one, you should hit him up and ask. Let's see. Freckberg, what's up? Okay. So we've updated. I'm going to watch. This is going to take the whole site down. I did something and now it's going to break. Okay, so that's good. Come over here. Wait, I need to go to 8888. And then we're going to go here. Okay, so we're in dev mode, so it's still happening in dev mode, but I don't know what it'll do in the other mode. But we're going to git commit this package JSON, or this package lock, I should say. We'll do update deps. And then I need to git remove sites. Oh, wait, we want to go with, where am I? I'm in, need to go into source, pages, index, because I don't actually want that one, right? I want that out. So did that delete it entirely though? Because I think I just get like mystery. It did delete it entirely. That's okay. You know what? We're just gonna let it be okay. I'm gonna git commit, remove placeholder homepage, and off we go. Now watch, here we go. So I have now pushed a change to my repo. And so what we're gonna see is we'll get a bunch of builds all kicking off at once. So this is my whole Monorepo suite all running. And so these are my scenes, these are my webhooks, my API, the remix site, the blog, and this is my main site, which I want to switch over to be the blog. So this one will actually go away once I get that done. Okay. Okay. Oh, nice. People dropping ARC invites. That is wonderful. Wonderful. And let's see. That remix site is failing, so I better go look at that. Or no, wait. Failed yesterday, worked today. Good. Okay, so that's working. That one's working. Let's go try this out. I'm going to open this branch deploy. Okay. So now look, here's what's cool. So I'm in the feature monorepo. Okay. And if I go and I look at what I'm actually deploying here, let's go to the deploy settings. And I'm deploying from this repository, but I'm running npx run blog build. So that's the Astro site. And I'm publishing the Astro public or the built Astro files from the feature monorepo, right? So now I'm looking at this is not it. It's, let's see, let's close that one here. Yeah. So here's the branch build, right? And I'm looking at, this is remix stuff. And if I click around, still looking at remix stuff, right? Everything's doing what I want. But then as soon as I click over here, I'm now looking at my blog, right? Pretty magical stuff. So I now have a fully stitched site all running on the same thing. So there are a couple things that I could do. The first thing that I could do if I wanted is I can go back to my deploys. I've got my branch deploy, and I could do something like publish this, right? So I've published this, and now if we go to learnwithjason.dev, we are looking at, so here's the live site, and then if I go over to my blog, we're now looking at the Astro blog on the live site. So that is fine. That's good. But I haven't actually fixed my public branch. Like I need this to be what happens by default. And so now what I need to do is I need to I need to merge my long-lived branch with main. Oh, it's going to suck so bad. Okay, everybody ready? Let's do this. I'm going to GitHub PR create. What are you going to do? Let's see. Release the monorepo. And for a body, we'll do just a quick one of these. All right, so this is a big ol' PR to merge in a monorepo migration that introduces NX, an Astro-powered blog, a V2 of the API, and a few other sites that share LWJ resources. And then to get done, I hit what? Control X. Nope, Control X. I want to save. Oh man, Nano confuses the heck out of me. And submit. You're going to explode so hard. So I'm going to go to this pull request. So here's the pull request. You're doing it, Peter. Oh boy. All right. So this is this is everything that I've done. Look at this. This has been a labor of weeks, I think. When did I do the first commit here? Does it show? 30 commits last week. Oh boy. 4 days ago. I don't know. I don't know when I did my last thing, but this is going to explode. All right. So you are, where's the actual like main site building? So let's go over here and let's look at this one. Here's our deploys, the deploy preview. It should theoretically work. NX run blog build. Yeah, do the thing. Come on, come on, come on. Holy crap, did that work on the first try? No way. Is it gonna let me? No, there's no way. There's no way this is just gonna work. Like, okay, so we're gonna go look at this. Here's the deploy preview, okay? So here's the deploy preview. We can click around. There's the blog, right? Right, okay, so everything's doing what we want. We can get in here, all right? Get to the episodes, get to the schedule. Uh-oh. Unexpected token in, what is that? Hold on. This was working. What's that? Oh no. It was fine. Oh goodness, that's not good. It was fine and now it's not fine. crap. What are you? Oh, you know what I bet it is? I bet this is trying to load from the, let's see. I bet it's trying to load from the Learn with Jason hosted API, which just went down because I pushed the other thing. So I probably need to move this. So let's go to routes, look at store, API products. That is hosted on this site, which I just changed. And that means that it's not going to work anymore, which means I need to move this endpoint into my new API before this will all work. What other API endpoints did I not move? So episode moved, episodes moved, schedule moved, sponsors moved, tag moved, and then I'm going to need to move all of these Shopify ones. Okay. All right. How are we doing on time? We got nothing but time. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to move all of these. How should I do this? Should I move API products? Is there a retrieving product list, right? So this is the Shopify API. So I'm going off, I'm getting these bits here. It doesn't like any of this because it's all TypeScript. And this looks like I can just copy paste it, I think. Util post to Shopify. Yeah, I'm going to just do it. So let's copy. And then I'll need this post to Shopify as well. And we're going to come up to my API endpoints. I'm going to drop this one in. You're going to complain about not having that, but that's okay because we can get that for you. Don't worry, little buddy. And I'm going to do that by getting post to Shopify. We're going to come up here and we're just going to see how well this works if I do a util paste. Okay, and so you should be up one then. Okay. And do you depend on anything? Process end, yeah, we expected that. We are on node 18, so I think I can get rid of this. Just go with the built-in fetch now. And that gives us all the pieces that we need. Let's test it. So now I can test my API, nx run API dev. Okay, and then if I go to, let's go over here, go to 8888, and we're going to hit API products. It crashed. And it crashed because of what? Failed to parse URL from undefined. Okay, that's fair. Is it not getting LWJ sanity token? I need to move this. I need to move this key over to the API. Fine. So to do that, I can go into here. I'm going to go to my environment variable. So I'm going to use the command K here, which lets me do a search. And I'm just going to go to environment variables. And I've got all of these keys in here. And the one that I need is the Shopify API endpoint, I believe. There's the endpoint, and I need the storefront API token. Okay, so this one is not actually secret, so I'm going to see if it's shown by default. It's not. Ooh, beautiful. Okay, so then I can copy this, right? And then I can go, let's open a new, I'm going to paste this off screen actually so that I can use this later. Just give me 1 second. There we go. Okay, so that's over there. And then I'm going to copy the other one as well, which was the storefront API token. And that one goes down here. Okay, so now I'm going to head over to my LWJ API. That command K, this command bar stuff is so freaking cool. Makes my life much easier. And then I'm going to go to environment variables again. And in here, I can create another variable. So I'm going to create one that is called Shopify API endpoint. And this is now hidden. So I can go in and grab this value that I copied off screen and drop it in here. And then I actually only need this to be available in function, so I can turn it off for everything else. And then that way it stays nice and secure. And if I wanted to, I could do like different values for each deploy. So like staging environment, a production environment, so on and so forth. But in my case, I'm not doing that. I don't have the deployment requirements to have like separate environments. I just kind of YOLO deploy everything, and it is what it is. So then the other thing that I need is, let's do this storefront API token. We're going to give it specific scopes. I want it only in functions, and make sure that this is hidden. There we go. All right. And so then I can go and get this. All right. So I'm going to create that variable. All right. So now that I got these, I am going to run this again, and they should show up for me. There they are. Okay, so now if I come back out here and I reload, it works. There are all of our products. Okay, great. So that then means that if I save this and I get add API, right? Then I can say git commit, move products endpoint to new API service. We'll call it site. It's not really a service. Okay. And then what I need to do is I need to change this site to call that instead. So I'm going to go into routes and store. And then I have just proxied this in under V2. So I can hit the V2 products endpoint now, and it should all just work. So I'm going to, we're going to say, update to the V2 API. We're going to push all of that. And then we're going to watch it build. And here's the other thing that's kind of cool about all this. If I go to my deploys, and actually we can just look at like all deploys here. The thing that I find really cool about this is that each one of these things, like the blog deploys in 22 seconds, the like here's the API in 24 seconds, the main repo in a minute, the scenes in a few seconds. Where's the remix? Remix in 30 seconds. So like each of the pieces of the site deploys really fast because I'm kind of using them for what they're ideal for. So the API is just a bundle of serverless functions. There's no build step at all. So they deploy super fast. The remix site is just a remix site. I'm not making it read the file system and include a bunch of stuff so that it can handle MDX anymore. So now it's super fast. It used to be slow because I was doing slow stuff with it. Astro is real fast at reading those MDX files. So it's, just a few seconds. And so the whole suite of builds goes live in, about 30 seconds total. Even when I'm doing all of these different things. Why did you just fail? See, this is the weird thing. This remix one has given me like intermittent failures, and that worries me a little bit. See, this is I don't know about that. So this is one of the things that concerns me a little bit about the way that remix is configured, is like it has to get all of this stuff copied over. And that is like this build just sometimes doesn't go, and I don't know why. So if I clear cache and redeploy, Mikhail, yes, all of these deploys share the same repo, and each one is set up as a distinct project in Netlify. And the way that works is like, here's my remix site, and the way that I have it set up I have it configured is I run npx nx, because NX will be installed, but not globally. So NPX will look for a local version of NX, and then if there isn't one, it'll install it. But this runs the build for the remix site, www build, right? And then it publishes the public files for the remix site. And then if I go back and I look at, say, let's go to the webhooks, right? So the webhook site is failing right now, and I don't know why. Run build filter. Oh, you know what? This one's set up for the wrong thing is why. This one needs to be npx run webhooks. Is there even a build step for the webhooks? There might not be. Yeah, there's not. So there's actually no command here. And then the public is just a placeholder, and then I need to make sure that it's deploying the right thing, so I can save that. And then I go to functions here, and I need to make sure that the functions directory is also set to sites webhooks source. Right. Okay, so that's the right thing as well. And so then if I come back out to my deploys, we will deploy the site. So this is, I was doing a few different things and had like different tools set up, but landed on NX and I forgot to update this one. Jacob, when you say deploy previews, what do you mean? Okay, so this is all building, and this should only take a couple seconds. I'm building from scratch here because this has clearly been failing since I switched over to the NX setup, and I just didn't notice because honestly, it's one webhook that I don't use very often, and the last deployed version worked, so I haven't needed to work on this. But what I was hoping this would show, and maybe I've got something else that'll show it, is that when there's no change, so like the API, there's no change. So theoretically, let's find out. NX should have pulled from the cloud. Let's see, did it do it? Yeah, read the output from cache instead of running the command. So it takes like the build command completed in 1.1 seconds instead of, 13. But like as a site gets bigger, this is a really big deal actually. So because this site, like the change I made in the API didn't make any difference to the blog, it just reads the cached output of the blog. And that means that this whole build gets done in 17 seconds, right? And so, yes, I could probably go through and set up NX affected and find ways to short circuit and all that, but I don't care. Like 17 seconds doesn't matter to me. And it's so straightforward to set this up. Like I literally, all I did was this piece here with the access token. I went to the NX cloud stuff, which you can find here, and they've got like docs on how to set this up, but it is surprisingly straightforward. Highly recommend that. It was very nice. Okay, Jacob, if you click on a link that takes you to Astro's deploy preview, does every link there point to the same deploy preview, such as a link? No, absolutely not. No, there might be a way for me to set that up, but that is not. I've definitely not done that. Probably the way to do that would be to have some kind of. How would you do that? Are these hooked up to a commit? Because that'd be interesting. Because if I go to like. Let's go to my sites and let's look at the site here. Let's look at the main build on here and the permalink. Is this URL, does that match the commit hash? Because that would be, it can't, that would be too convenient. No, it doesn't. So I don't know how you would do it. There's probably a way that this could be done, but I'm not sure. So yeah, you can get the context end, but the way that I've set this up, and this is something that I think like I don't know that anybody's got a good solution to this, right? And this is sort of the challenge. Each of these sites is an independent Netlify site. So the proxying is the only thing that ties them together. And that actually kind of brings up a good point. I am very rarely going to need to change like all of the sites at once where I would need them to be deploy previewed together. And instead, I'm most likely going to be changing kind of one thing at a time. And the proxy is almost never what I'm testing. So that like I probably could find out some way to connect these together, but I don't. I mean, I'm open to be proven wrong, but I'm having a hard time imagining why having those things proxied together would make a big impact on my ability to test the change that I made, because the changes are typically going to be pretty contained into I'm validating that the change I made worked on the site that I'm deploying, and very few things are like I'm architecting these so that there's very little that reaches across the line between proxies. That's kind of my intention here. So okay, I want to go back and look at my builds here. The remix site failed again. Why did you fail? Using node, restoring cache. I'm a little worried that there's something going on with remix where it doesn't want to keep this this build directory between caches, and I need something because it successfully read the output from the cache. Oh no, I know what the problem is. It's when you read the output from the cache, it doesn't trigger the part where the build folder would get copied over into the server here. And so I need NX to not read from the cache on remix. Okay. That's a later problem, because honestly, if I'm not deploying remix, I don't really care if the build doesn't go live, because it's going to be exactly the same as the one before it, and nothing really breaks if this one doesn't deploy. And a new change would not trigger the NX cache, so that doesn't matter. You know what? It's not actually a problem. It's going to be annoying, but it's not actually anything wrong. The webhooks are now building. Good. The blog is building. The API is building. And when I change remix will build. My Discord bot is not building, and we can change that because yep, it's on the old settings. So my Discord bot is, I believe, only serverless functions. So let's go fix it. Here's my webhooks. Discord bot is functions, and that's all good. Okay, so I'm just gonna change this out. Make sure it doesn't have a build command. The build command is no build. Cool. We'll just skip the build command altogether. Keep that there. And then I'm going to go to functions, make sure that it's got the right functions directory. It does. Good. Okay, so we can go out here, trigger another deploy, and that should get all of my sites building the way that I want them built. So these ones are all doing their thing. My builds. Scenes are building. Yes. All right, we're ready. So nothing up my sleeve here, but if this will let me commit, blog worked, webhooks failed, that's fine. Remix failed, we know why. API failed, okay. Will you let me just do this? I'm just doing it. Here we go. Is this all going to work? This is all going to work. It's just going to work. bot is now building effect properly. You doing the thing? There's no way that that just worked. I actually can't believe it let me merge that, to be complete. I can't believe there were no merge conflicts. Oh God, what? What did I do? Okay, great. So now I have my monorepo at the root here. This is all inaccurate. Son of a biscuit. Okay. Cool. I need to go fix that. And let's see. The slow motion press of the enter button. Yes. Need some like, you know, really some tense music or something. I don't have any tense music. I only have I guess we could say, oh, we're live. Okay. So unrelated, let's see. Trying to make a site on Netlify, use Netlify forms. Solid Start seems to be taking the post data with my form info instead of Netlify handling it, so forms don't work. I don't know enough about Solid Start to answer that question, unfortunately. But I know that the Solid team is super helpful, so check out their Discord and other spots that they hang out, and I'm sure they can get that set for you. Oh yeah, Mikhail's got an answer. Look at that. Okay. Did this work? Are we live? Okay. Just double checking that everything did what I want. We're going to the builds. We've got successful learn with Jason, successful API, successful Discord bot, successful webhooks. And then we're missing the remix, but the remix is clearly working because, let's see, close this. Got a lot of tabs open. All right, so this one works, right? That's all doing what I want. Let's get into the schedule. Good. Get into the episodes themselves. They're all doing their thing. Click in. Yep, got transcripts. All right, go to the store. Store works again because we're on the V2 API now. Head over to the blog. Blog is working. Great. Go to the newsletter. And we got ourselves, I think we got ourselves a working site here. Let's try. Yep, Command K works to open up the search. I'm feeling pretty okay here, y'all. Like this is seems good. How do y'all feel? So now the nice thing about this is that when I want to work on something, I don't have to. Oh, this is magical. Okay, so I'm gonna git checkout main. I'm gonna git pull. Are you just gonna please just work? Oh my goodness, that is amazing. Like I can't tell you how. Okay, just let's take a beat here. I love Git with my entire heart. I really do. And every single time that I try to do something ambitious with Git, I forget that I love Git because the rebasing stuff, I've been doing this long enough that like I get it. I can do a rebase, but it still just barely makes sense to me. And the challenge of like, okay, so if I revert a commit and then that reverted commit is now in the commit history, then when you go to like rebase, you get these conflicts and like you can work through it every time, but it's like it just doesn't feel easy, you know? And all that to say, this 2-week-old, maybe more, monorepo migration that I've been working on is I cannot believe that just merged. Okay, so let's talk about. I don't even know what we talk about. Are we done? let's go fix this because I got a bunch of these sites running on the Monorepo branch. So if I go to my sites here and I go to the API, we need to go to the deploy settings and make sure that it's using the main branch. And then I don't really need it to follow that one anymore. So we'll just deploy the production branch. Okay. So the API is done. 1. Discord bot. Same deal. Deploy settings. Build settings is what I was looking for. Okay. So same thing here. We want the... Oh, I had an old branch called NX. So this is even longer. I was like, December 11th doesn't seem like long enough for how I've been doing this, but I had an old branch called NX that I was working on, and lots happening. Okay, so the Discord bot is good. We need to go to the webhooks. And let's go to the build settings. And we're going to make this one main. Okay, let's go to remix. Build settings. And we're going to make this one main. And then we're going to go to the blog. This one I'm actually going to delete because I'm not using it anywhere anymore. I've now consolidated this into the LWJ 2021 site. So that one goes away. And what else is left? We've updated Remix. We've updated, let's go back to sites. Updated Remix, updated webhooks, Discord bot, API. We've got this one. Let's go to the build settings. We don't need to build either of these branches anymore. Actually, I'll just go to none. Okay. Okay. And so then if I go in here, let's take all of this and we're going to, what do I need to do? I need to update this README a little bit. All right. It's built with Remix. Let's see. This whole section is now incorrect. How do I want to do this? Let's do. It's a NX Monorepo housing multiple sites built with, then we'll do one of these and one of those. I don't work at Netlify anymore, so I don't need UTM campaigns. Then we can do one of, we need Astro. And what else? What else am I doing in here? For data, it uses, got a couple things going on in here. So I use Sanity. Do I use Hasura anymore? I don't think I do. I'm going to take this out, actually. And then Shopify. What else? Let's see. We're loading data from... Let's just do a little tour here. I've got my... This is coming out of just a Netlify function now. We've got... This comes out of Sanity. All of this comes out of Sanity. The topic information comes out of Sanity. That's hard-coded. The store comes out of Shopify. Blog is MDX. Newsletter is ConvertKit. Am I using any other data? We'll say we'll give Algolia a shout out because Sarah Dayan hooked me up with an Algolia search that is just dope. All right, so the API is now at v2. Let's just double check that that actually works. Yes. All right, look at this this highlighter plugin I got. This is great. The only complaint I have about this highlighter plugin is that it doesn't have the Night Owl theme, and this just feels wrong to me. But otherwise, this is great. Okay, so that one works. We want episodes. I did not paginate the episode, so we are going to skip pagination. Maybe I'll put that back later. Get the details about a single episode. You can get the transcript, but it's... Oops. Transcript equals true. The poster doesn't work that way anymore, so we're going to leave that off for now. Get the schedule here. Let's say we're just running Node 18 now. It's really, this is not really a runnable. There's so many environment variables now that I don't know that you can do. I don't know that you can actually do anything with this. So I don't know. We'll npx nx run blog dev. That one should run at least. cd learn with json.dev, npm install, nx run blog dev. That should work. Just going to use that. Just works. Project will start at port 8888 now. Environment variables are not set, so things won't set. Yeah. And now I've got my all contributors, which I love that tool. All right, so let's git commit. I need to get back to the root directory here. Git commit, and we'll say, no, update readme. Did this just freeze? Whoa. That was super weird. Did that work? Seems like it worked. All right. So we push, and now comes the test. Everything should build now. So we're going to go to sites, and actually I'm going to go to builds, and it should show me Remix, Webhooks, API, bot, and this is the main blog. So collapsing all the sites. Oh, we didn't do the scenes. We've got, do one of these over here, do one of these over here. What are you? Get out of here. We've got the blog, Discord bot, the API, the webhooks, and the remix site building. We don't have the scenes, so I got to go to the scenes. That's the right one. Yes. And then we're going to go to build settings, and I need to change this over to main. We save. Okay. Okay. All right. So theoretically speaking, this is all now running and just working. And if we go to, learn with Jason.dev, reload. It's all doing the thing. All right, I got a little inconsistency. This is part of the remix stuff. I have to move this like to the common header that I built because I did some touch-ups on this to make it a little easier for me to manage and style. And I actually added, this will be nice on mobile. I added an easier search and a better menu because previously, if we go to the homepage, it's kind of like this, which is fine, but like it makes it pretty hard to see what's going on the page. Whereas now you can see a little bit more on a phone. So I'm excited about that. And we'll slowly roll out that design system consistency across all of the remix stuff as I kind of back things out and figure them out. Episode without V2. Oh, did I screw that up? Let's go back to the README API. So we'll just actually include the V2 right here. And then we can hit 1, 2, 3. Ah, yes, good call. Okay, so fix that. Git commit am feed update. Update the episode link in README. We can push. And then watch, I'll show you why why this stuff is so cool. So if I go in here and I say, watch, I can at one of these, right? So I'll go into the Monorepo and you should just helped. So I'm going to say, that's your GitHub, right? Did that backwards. Let's just check this on. All right, so watch now. I do an all contributors. I think this is how this works. And then it will respond if I tag the right bot. Yeah, so check this out. Now it has opened up a pull request for me and added it's like updates the number of contributors and adds another thing there. Like this is dope. Like it's just such a nice thing to have. And then I can probably go and configure some of this stuff to get less, a little bit less noise happening here. Cause like probably don't need a full deploy preview, although they are so fast that maybe it doesn't matter. I don't know. Yeah, then this remix one's going to fail because it's going to use the cache. And that's okay. Yeah, there's the remix one failing, whatever. So I need to fix that because that part's annoying, that it makes it look like the PR failed when I know that it didn't. So I'll probably need to go fix that part. Maybe I'll just unhook the remix part of things. But then the other piece that I can do here is if I go into, what are we doing on time? We're almost out of time here. So let's do one quick test to make sure that, let's make sure that the remix site is actually building the way I want it to. So I'm going to go to the root here and we've got the head, meta links, all that stuff is in here. Good. Good, good. All right. Let's actually do a quick check to see, do I have any instances of API that aren't V2? So the subscribe is fine. These are all V2, V2, V2. The store I'm going to have to fix, but I've got a different redirect in place for that I think will work. I might have to port that redirect over. We'll see. That's actually a great question. Let's go check. Can I, in my store, add something to a cart? No. We're getting a 502 API store add to cart. Okay, so let's go check what is happening here. I need to go in here and let's update this redirect where we want API v2. That's fine, but what I really want is I want API store. How do I have this configured on the other site? Let's get into the app. Store goes into Netlify functions, Shopify Splat. Okay, so I can grab this and then come over here. And what I want it to be is the remix site. And we'll do one of these, right? And so what this has given me is, and I'm just going to line these up because it pleases me. It looks like I got a straggler out there. So now instead of trying to redirect it to the root of the site, we'll redirect it specifically to the remix site, which should theoretically make it work. Let's test it and find out. I'm going to git commit. We'll say fix use remix store API. And we push. What? Oh, because we didn't do I did that all contributors merge. So now if I push, off it goes. And this should cause the site to rebuild. And here they all go. And now we can see we've got our happy little army of sites all building. And they all build nice and fast, which makes me very happy. The push notifications are always kind of nice. I had to turn mine off because I was getting, like, I'm in a lot of orgs on GitHub and I couldn't figure out how to like only give myself notifications when it was my stuff and not org stuff. And so they've basically become completely useless to me. All right, so we are almost built. We are built. And so now, theoretically speaking, nothing up my sleeve here. Let's see what happens. I'm going, oh no, see that one's failing. 502. Why would it 502 though? It's 502ing because I bet the remix site doesn't have the I bet the remix site doesn't have the keys, which let's verify that. And then I probably won't have time to redeploy. Let's go to remix and then let's go to build settings, and I actually want environment variables. Opt into the new experience. No environment variable set. Okay, so that's the problem. I need to go and grab the environment variables from the other site and bring them in. So I'll have to do a little bit of digging in this, let's see here. No, not the blog. And this one, in the store, for example, I'm going to have all of my Shopify stuff. I'm going to have to get these details, and then probably in here, there are going to be potentially other ones. Yeah, so I just need to move those details in so that I've got the post to Shopify stuff there. The good news is that I'll be able to migrate this into the API, or I might even, I don't know, maybe I'll get real wild and build out the store as its own little microservice so that I can do more. I want to do more with it. I just haven't gotten around. Yeah, so I think I have a path forward to fixing this. So I'll go and fix that as soon as we get done here, because it's not going to happen in 2 minutes. And then we'll have an actually migrated, fully functional, like running as a Monorepo, NX, Netlify, Astro, Remix, Netlify functions site, right? So pretty exciting in how all of that works, and I need to probably go and set up a couple other webhooks too, so that like the Remix site rebuilds when you update Sanity and a couple other pieces like that. But the big thing, the thing that I thought was going to be the hardest, which was getting that repo merged, that big PR merge, went so painlessly that I'm kind of astonished. And that now it's just the admin cleanup to go and do. So let's call that one a success, y'all. I think this was a lot of fun. Oh, Ben, whole Microsoft, woof. All right, so back to the homepage, where this episode, like every episode, has been live captioned. We have had Rachel from Whitecoat Captioning here. That is made possible through the support of our sponsors, Netlify, NX, and New Relic, all kicking in to make this show more accessible to more people, which I appreciate so very much. We have so many good things coming up on this show. I really hope y'all go and mark your calendars. I'm starting something new in January, actually, where I'm going to do solo streams on Tuesdays, and they're going to be a little bit longer. So we're going to do 3 hours, which will give me an opportunity to build stuff that's a little more ambitious. I feel like I'm always kind of in a sprint in a 90-minute co-working session. And then Thursdays will be for guests. So you can see here that these are the Thursday guest streams. I'll get the Tuesday ones listed so they show up in the calendar. But yeah, this will hopefully be an opportunity for folks to hang out a little bit more. It'll give me more of an opportunity to talk to y'all in the chat without feeling like I'm ignoring the guest or vice versa. And you know, we'll see what we can build. I'm going to try to build a bunch of stuff over the next year, and my intention is to build as much of it as I can just here. And we'll see, kind of see what that turns into. So with that, y'all, this has been great. Anybody have a recommendation on who we should raid? I am looking and I see, let's see, Coding Garden, Bash Bunny, Code It Live, or who I am seeing live. If anybody's got recommendations, toss them out now. I think Joshua K. Goldberg. All right, Ben, let's do it. We're going to go raid. Wait. Is that spelled wrong? Twitch.tv.
Tested was you would write code in a ts.lint file.
Oh, weird. Okay, I spelled it wrong. So let me go back over here, and we're going to raid. The raid has been created. Here we go. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out. We will see you all next time.